Will I like this movie? F U C. You know what? I don't even care anymore. This movie's. What's going on, guys? Welcome to 31 Days of Horror. I am Morgan Film Fan. Let's jump into some scares. We have our final Wild Eye release in this 4-pack that I was been talking about, and the final one is the Ouija Possession. Never spell his name. And I don't want to spend too much time talking about this one because by far this was definitely the one that worked for me the least. By pretty much every account, except for one, and I'll get into that. But story-wise and just the way everything was produced and put together, you know, when it comes to like, I don't know, this one was tough. This one was really tough to get to because it starts to get ridiculous and unbelievable to a point where you're just not even interested anymore after a certain point. But it basically it involves these kids basically who want to get together at a house to guess what, play the Ouija board. But it starts off with these guys, and I'm telling you, they're passing a football around that was completely reminiscent of The Room. So we're starting the film off right there. And they're just talking to each other like nobody ever talks to each other. And then you have these two girls sitting on the bench of like the football field wherever they're at, or high school or wherever they were, and they're talking to each other like no girls ever talk to each other, realistically. And then it just goes back and forth between them, and then they decide to meet and they decide to go to this house. And there's also a party going on at the house, and apparently I guess they go to the basement. And there's just really strange fucking acting in this film. You have this party going on upstairs. It's like a dinner party with, I don't know who, one of their parents maybe, I don't know. You have all these like women who are friends with like one of their mom and dads hitting on the young like men all the time. You have the dad come in and start to like cheer for his son, like he's a football player and he's tough and he's this and that, and he's like trying to sell him to like everybody around, but in the most awkward and cringy way. It's really really weirdly written. And I don't know, it was a rough one because just, I don't know if it was like the acting or the direction or the writing. I can't tell which was which. Maybe a combination of everything. But yeah, just not did not work for me. But there is one aspect of this film that I actually loved, and it involves, I guess, a zombie coming out of his grave. And I was wondering if that was actually like footage that the director didn't film themselves, if it was stock. Because, and the only reason I say that is because there is one film that I watched, I think it was a Wild Eye release too, that was an anthology, and in between every segment there was zombie footage going on, and I'm like, this zombie shit is amazing. Like, what is this? And then when I saw in the credits, I realized it was stock footage, and I'm like, you know what? That's just cheap, and that's just a cop out. And I don't think directors should ever do that. Now, I'm not. I have no idea. I'm not saying if the zombie stuff was stock footage on here or not, but I will say that that was the best part of the film. And they conjure this zombie, which is also weird because the Ouija doesn't conjure zombies; it conjures spirits. So I guess like the spirit went back into the man who came out of the grave, and then he starts to come back to the house where these kids are at and stalk them and like try to. He goes all like zombie mode kind of thing, and he looked great. Like he looked fantastic. The practical effects on him were like to the point where I'm considering like giving it a 1 star just for his performance. Nothing else worked, unfortunately. Like other than his look and his design, nothing else works. Not even the reason that he's there, because it really didn't make any sense to me. And then you have closer to the end, you have a reveal where one of the girls was actually like purposely trying to conjure this thing for reasons that are beyond me. And yeah, it's I don't want to be mean or anything like that. It just didn't work for me. To me, it just felt like a mess of a film. And maybe that'll change with other watches, but I just have to give my honest opinion on it. And things just didn't click, in my opinion. And yeah, not for me. Maybe for somebody else, but not for me. However, that zombie character and that addition, albeit it making no sense at all, was really cool. Especially him coming out of the grave. Might be one of the best like grave rising scenes ever. Like I mean, it's ever. I mean, we're comparing to a lot of great zombie films, but it was fantastic. Like it was well done, and it was all practical, and I just liked the look of that monster himself. Unfortunately, everything else around it just didn't work for me. But yeah, that concludes the 4-pack of Wild Eye, and more to come. Now, I don't know about Wild Eye, but definitely more films to come. But we're going to be getting into something else tomorrow, not a Wild Eye film. And 31 Days of Horror is going to be continuing, so stay tuned and subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you want to hear some more gems that are all first-time watches for me. And keep things spooky. Until next review, cheers.